Parents who tried their best to raise their kids to be good humans, but they turned out to be jerks. What do you wish you did differently?
Experience 1. I, male, was essayed by an older boy when I was a child. My parents knew but didn't want to admit that happened. My life was a chaotic mess until I addressed it myself, and my sexual life was reckless, harmful, and dangerous to myself and my partners because I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. I was hypersexual for decades. My mom admitted she knew they should have gotten me therapy, as well as get the kid arrested. I absolutely hated authority figures for a long time because I was betrayed on that level, and it started a burning resentment and anger, and I subconsciously screwed my life up to get back at them without realizing that's what I was doing. Parents, if something traumatic happens to your child, get them help. I don't want to hear the money excuse. You freaking go without, you eat ramen, you get a second job, whatever you have to do. But please, don't teach your kid that they can't trust anyone in positions of authority. You're dooming them to a life of anger, pain, depression, resentment, emotional shutdown, and in my case, alcoholism and violence. Save them from themselves. Don't let them follow my path. I barely made it out alive and sane. Experience 2. I'm speaking as a teacher, but I've seen wildly different siblings. I think parents need to get a handle on that dynamic. A lot of perfectionists, older siblings, and younger ones can't achieve at that level and act out instead to find how they can earn attention. Experience 3. Be very careful who you have kids with. If I could do it all over again, I would have chosen better. They ended up with one responsible parent who was completely overwhelmed trying to do the job of 2 people. Experience 4. You don't have to win every power struggle. I don't have jerk kids. But I do think I've learned a lot from having 4 very different kids, and I think too many parents won. Think the same strategies work for all kids, i.e., rule consequence behavior falls in line, rinse, and repeat, and 2. Focus on the behavior rather than the cause. If you have a kid who doesn't respond to your parenting style/philosophy, you should rethink your approach. It's not all the kid's fault. Some kids will burn their lives to the ground to make a point. I have one like that. For too long, it was a vicious cycle of kid acts out. I punish. The kid is angry and acts out more. I punish harder. The kid is angrier and acts out even more. I punish even harder. And on and on and on and on. Something needs to break the cycle. For instance, if your kid is challenging your authority, it's usually a bid for more independence. They're trying to be more mature, and they want your adult respect. You don't have to excuse the bad behavior, the consequences are okay. But you also have to look for ways to help your kid get that need met. You don't have to tie it to the actual incident, so it doesn't look like a reward. Give them more responsibility for themselves. Let him walk to school alone if he doesn't get to do that. Quit bugging him so much about what he does with his free time, even if you think he should be getting more fresh air. Look for any opportunity to let him choose something. We're going to do something as a family on Sunday. You can choose what we do, or where we eat, or whatever. Don't tell him when he has to do his chores. Let him set his Saturday schedule. I need you to mow the lawn and do the dishes today. You can do it any time between now and 6 p.m. If you address the cause of the behavior, it's going to do way more to correct bad behavior, and you'll also get more respect from your kid. If you insist on winning every power struggle, your kid is going to see everything as a fight. Edit, I need to give my wife credit for helping me understand this over the years. She's not only a great mom and wife, but she's also a really good therapist. She's gained a lot of perspective working with other kids and parents and working on those relationships. Experience 5. In my opinion, the one defining characteristic of bad parents is being resentful of their own children. Resentful that they took some of their freedom, resentful of their youth, resentful of their opportunities, resentful of their intelligence, resentful of their beauty, resentful of their possessions, resentful of their education, resentful of their accomplishments, resentful of their happiness, etc. I think this is far more common than most people realize. These parents may consciously provide for their kids while they unconsciously sabotage them. The kids pick up on this and end up aspiring to their parents' unspoken expectations. Good parents want their kids to exceed their own achievements and, most importantly, to be happy. Good parents are empathetic to their children. They're happy when their kids are happy. They're sad when their kids are sad. Resentful parents don't really want their kids to be happy unless they credit the parents for their happiness. No achievement belongs to the kids, but every failure does. Experience 6. I worked with youth for a while in a poorer rural part of America, and from my anecdotal experience, 2 types of kids can turn into bad humans. 1, they've just had tough lives and no good role models. If you get to know them, you realize they are just normal kids that have never been given the tools, opportunity, or encouragement to act any different. If no one figures out how to intervene, it becomes a pattern of life for them that spirals out of control. 2, kids that never suffer the consequences of their actions. They tend to have really nice caregivers who have a knack for getting their kids out of trouble. When I say they don't suffer consequences, I mean literally. Their parents do their homework, their parents lie for them, and their parents don't ever tell them no. Their caregivers also don't supervise them, but whenever anything happens, they are easily manipulated by their child and take whatever their child says as gospel truth without question. And although the parents don't supervise their children, they seem all too willing to give them everything their child asks for, within the confines of their economic class. The caregivers are somehow both emotionally neglectful but also always there to help their child out of a jam, in a way that feels like they want to be manipulated by their child. Kids in the first category will do something bad and you go, how could they be so stupid? When kids in the second category do something bad, your reaction is, it's only a matter of time before they kill someone. I knew a lot of young adults who got in trouble with the law, but it was only people from category 2 who got tried for murder and manslaughter. Experience 9. Ugh. We talked to our son about everything under the sun. We had an open forum. We talked extensively about money management, sexuality, dating, how to treat other people, substance use, alcoholism, and its consequences. He and I also watched a ton of documentaries together on all of the above topics. I have a thing for shows like Underground Incorporated, Substances Incorporated, and Broken, and miniseries like Dope Sick. Once he turned 18, he began to do everything we advised against. It's been a hard few years. After losing his girlfriend, losing his job, and spending some time in jail, I think he's starting to listen. He's been doing a very good job lately. We love him and we support him despite how hard it's been. I feel bad even typing this. It's really tough to look back and legitimately say what could have been done differently. What I can say to coming parents is, don't give up on your kid. Do the best you can. You can't control everything. Experience 10. Not me, but my parents have discussed what they wished they had done differently for my brother to prevent him from becoming a violent, homeless, substance-addicted snotball of a person. They wish they had sent him to therapy before the problems ever started, and that they had reacted quicker and sent him sooner when they did. They wish they hadn't yelled so much at all of us. That they had been more patient and forgiving of our mistakes. They wish a lot. Experience 11. I have one child, the youngest, who I'm starting to worry about. He's tall, athletic, attractive, and very charismatic. I feel like it's a constant battle between teaching him respect and humility and the worship he gets at school. At his age, he's not prepared to deal with all these peers who want his attention, tell him how great he is, and the girls lining up to talk to him. Yeah, don't we all wish we had this problem as teens? Anyway, it's a struggle. He's gotten cocky and thinks life will just keep on treating him like a king. And maybe it will, he's got the type of personality that makes people want him around. But he needs to treat others with the same respect he expects for himself. Confidence is good, but it needs to be combined with kindness. Our other children are very level-headed and what we feel are good people. I hope we get to properly teach this to our youngest and that he takes it to heart and chooses to be a good person. Experience 12. The only thing you can really do is teach them. They will become who they will become eventually. Also, when I say teach them, I don't just mean to preach things. Lead by example. Do you want to teach them to be kind and generous? Then do those things yourselves. If they watch you serve others in need and get joy from that or love those around you, they may grow up wanting that joy themselves. Do you want them to be responsible for alcohol? Show them how to be responsible. Do you want them to learn from their mistakes? Then when you make a mistake, own up to it and apologize. Show them no one should be too prideful to admit they were wrong and do better the next time. If you preach kindness and such, but your actions show otherwise, it will come off as hypocritical. Kids know when you are sincere. Experience 13. I have raised 3 kids, none of them jerks. All good, kind, productive people. However, one of my kids was a difficult, extremely strong-willed child. I kept getting caught in power struggles with this child, which was leading nowhere and resulting in us fighting all the time. I felt critical and negative, which I hated. I decided to start catching the child being good. Every time I saw the child behaving or being helpful or successful at something, I commented on it, thanked them, praised them, etc. It was an immediate turnaround. I learned that children simply want your attention. Often it is the misbehaving child that gets that attention. Start focusing your attention on when they are good, and you will see good. It was a game changer for us. This child is now a young adult who graduated from college with good grades and got a great job at a prestigious company. They are doing extremely well in life/career/friendship/romantic relationships. We have a close relationship, and I couldn't be prouder of the way they turned out. Experience 14. Don't praise kids for being smart, even if they are. If you do this, the first time they find something academically challenging, they might think they are not smart anymore, or that you lied, and they were never smart in the first place. Praise them for their willingness to try, to problem solve, and to persevere. My kid isn't a jerk, but he is an underachiever who lacks confidence. I put too much emphasis on his intelligence and not enough on hard work. Experience 15. I guess I'm that shithead kid. My parents were incredibly strict and controlling, and my parents didn't practice or express unconditional love. I had to earn my place with them. My mother is very religious, to the point of absurdity. If I ever wanted to express myself in a slightly nonconformist way, it was a huge problem. My father just wanted to watch TV, smoke cigs, and be left the hell alone. They made me spend my free time as a teenager working because if my dad had to go to work, so did I. I was incredibly rebellious until about 17 when I realized I was at the end and would be free soon. I just put my head down and took their criticizing and bullying until I got to walk out their door free. My childhood was pure punishment, and my home was a prison. I left home and I was just like a not well socialized person, and my sense of self was always negative. I used lots of substances and alcohol and created problems for myself. I had a survivor mindset. I had to do whatever I had to do to survive because I just couldn't go back home. The world really beat me down and put me in my place. I have a lot more humility now. I'm kind of a broke loser, but I work all the time. I don't think I'll ever thrive in a material sense, but getting some peace of mind and perspective has made me appreciate my situation. For what it's worth, I have no children. Just to be clear, I think kids get unconditional love from their parents. They should be held accountable for mistakes, but they are humans and some mercy for their misgivings is required. You should probably do more to culture their kids than just expose them to church and labor. Maybe take them to a museum or something. And you should probably not punish them for having their sense of self and expression. But I'm skeptical that even the most well-intentioned person can break the cycle of misery and working-class drudgery.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's stories. If you want to see more stories, check out these videos or check the links in the description for more videos. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And ring that notification bell.